Okay, hi. So I'm at Whitnall Park in my neighborhood. It's a big park. Um, and I'm standing in the tree line. Cameras within the trees. I wanted to see the trees amidst me and not just looking out at them. So this park's sort of special. My adult daughter, I brought her here quite a bit as a young girl, young daughter, playing in the swing set, walking around. Wonderful stuff as a dad. Good stuff for a daughter to enjoy. Very good stuff. So, I wanted to come here and do a little shooting. The snow's falling very lightly. I'd actually hoped it to be falling a little heavier. This light fall allows me to have my camera outside, though. That light snow, I'm trusting at this point that I'll be okay with my camera. Makes me think a bit here. Actually, I was exploring what I was going to talk about as after I got here. I wasn't sure. I did a earlier videotape at home, earlier vlog. So there's a whole bunch of little startup material setting the stage. What came to me in a relatively easy and clear way after a few minutes was, as far as topic, was, I had to look at the beauty of being out in nature, really. The sereneness, quiet, but the comfortable feeling. And aware that that's really nice. And there where I went with that is a bit of a Buddhist kind of approach. I mean, I'm aware, and I may share some things about my explorations with mindfulness. So that's what's nice. I've been talking more about politics lately. And as the car's going by, caught my attention here, about 40 yards away, slowly along the road. So the looking out at nature and just, we got like 5, 6, 7 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. So obviously that's a beautiful thing. Looks so nice out in nature. And so that feeling I had, just, it's very nice, right? And had, a feeling of appreciation, feeling of being relaxed. And where I sort of went with that is an awareness of how life, it can be so complicated for people, for all of us. We struggle so much, right? We're in our head, we have our emotions, we got to make decisions. It's classic Buddhist kind of stuff. Humans suffer so well. And so as I was experiencing what I did, as I thought about what I'd be talking about, again, just this, this quiet appreciation, the beauty that's there. In my experience, I've gained so much from my path I've been on with exploring mindfulness and different aspects of the spiritual path. I mean, it's absolutely self-evident that, life is so much more easy and intimate. And I'm just talking about the daily experience of life in particular, although, you could talk about, personal moments with other people and other things, and those are absolutely beautiful and nice, and there is something added. I would say that the basic experience of 24/7 living, the basic experience of having more stillness, feeling more whole, feeling satisfied and content in most ways. And these aren't things like I'm thinking about every day per se. I mean, I'm aware of all emotions, and I'm aware of when I'm more still than others, perhaps. And I also have a fair amount of anonymity, meaning, whether it's a little bit up like this or whether it's down a little bit like this, it's not like a big drama. It's like, it's okay what it is. There's such a muscle that's been built for allowing the isness, what is at any particular time. There's been a muscle which is very much related to the practice of mindfulness. I'm aware of how I came through the back door. I stumbled around through the back door into mindfulness because it wasn't a term, an area I was specifically exploring. I was just taking slow walks and tending to, fall into and appreciate that side, that way of experiencing. And as I just continued to explore some of that, it just was a natural way of, okay, I'm just going to, bliss out here, or I'm going to just allow this to be real. And I was sort of interested, I had a natural, perhaps passion, interest in just falling and allowing that realness, that quiet inner part of me to give it room. In the beginning, it wasn't 24/7 by any stretch, but that's just a little history there. More importantly, in getting back a bit to whether it's anonymity, less striving for what's good and positive versus what isn't quite as, which is a little bit painful or a little bit disturbing or a little bit unknown. And the more one explores with mindfulness, I believe to be the case from experience, and it's rather intuitively true as well, that something changes. The Eckhart Tolle would talk about thought identification, and that's a little deeper kind of a word. It's a little confusing. I'm not going to sit on that right now. But just the repetitive being open to the experience as it is, and again, the repetitive and the ongoing history where, things are a little uncomfortable. I sometimes talk about like you're brushing against the wall. You hit the wall repeatedly where I'm a little uncomfortable and I want to, recover myself. I want to engage more of that way of using thoughts to change, to direct, to push away, to claim. The more one sort of looks to exist and be open and still be alive and experience them themselves, that's all a process. It's real clear to me that the interesting thing, and I haven't talked or figured this out quite as much, to be truthful, it's an interesting little revelation here to some degree, is that there's no doubt the path of mindfulness introduces and leads a person to go in the direction of what I'm describing, where, it's less impulsive, it's less, the brain, the thoughts are not quickly always grabbing onto the answer. And in the path, as I recollect, and I paid a lot of attention to it, there's some nuances, there's some struggles. And again, that's not what this talk is about. But I guess I was sort of getting to the point that the part that isn't absolutely as clear is that how does one come out of it? How does one continue to blossom and really where does a full blossoming of that flower, how is that, on an individual basis, what's involved there, what are the different aspects? And I clearly did some spiritual work that sort of rocked it, that helped me really blossom. And I'm not sure if I would have mentioned that at all. I don't think I will. It's too peaceful here. We don't need to go too far. Want to enjoy, because the topic and what I'm mostly talking about is, this being human thing is very difficult, right? I mean, suicide, depression, those are just the extremes, somewhat the extremes. Depression, maybe not so, because that's all on a continuum. But we struggle with our emotions, and we try and get through life, and it's so strenuous. For many years, even before mindfulness, I believe I recognized that, the everyday human being getting through their lives, it's heroic, because we have so much strife, sad, unsure, noise in the brain, noise in the mind, trying to get through, feeling weak, and then not being able, emotionally the state isn't very good, so you only show up so far, and gosh, the developmental stages, high school, college, afterwards, they all have their deal. We're trying to find ourselves. Energy. Now, in today's youth, in today's world, we got, the instant gratification and the huge amount of social media communication, being heard. Anyways, it's all of that. But I'm doing a disservice slightly to not celebrating, again, the beauty, my major theme about Buddhism and about human struggle, and had this part, of course, about mindfulness, that I would be very remiss if I didn't share that, if I don't speak that out to some degree, because it doesn't answer all my questions in life. It doesn't answer all my, I don't know if you'd say needs, still desires for, connecting with other people, and sharing the beauty of that. And historically, that, the personal life has been more flagrantly improved, and, the stillness and feeling more whole. And I'm not whining, and I'm okay on the personal level, and the sharing love, and the connecting, and yet that is a bit more of there's a little more unknowns. It isn't each step, and my ability to move so easily, relatively easily, and live life in my moments. With people, it's a little more. Well, part of it is extroverted, perhaps, is that, it's really involving, of course, reaching out to others, and sharing together in that, that harmony, that sharing, that giving love, giving attention, and then the back and forth. So, again, that's a bit of another aside. So there you have it. That's sort of how I move, the good and bad of that. But nevertheless, whatever a person does, there's religion, of course, which is beautiful and so fundamental. And for the people who are grounded in that, a lot of heart, a lot of faith, I realize how that is like close to everything. I mean, that's the big bulk. For me, there's an opening to the divine and life and God, however that is. But I'm just sort of sharing, I recognize as I'm talking how there's different core ways in which a person gets grounded in life, where they're able to put their heart, where they're able to put their grounding sticks, that they are now showing up, that this is what's most true, this is what's most valuable, this is what most helps somebody move in life and live, especially in a whole full way. And by the way, that's pretty much the definition of spiritual. I knew that long time ago. So it's a pleasure to, and really, it's great to be able to have this as part of my life, and to be talking to you and sharing with you, and looking to, grow to share about mindfulness. And this one, where, if you're interested enough to watch it, you may get information, of course, of some insight about, well, this particular person, how it's affecting him, and how he shows up with that. So that's what we have today. A beautiful day, light snowfall. Camera's getting a little wet, so I have to take care of that. Pushing the limit there just a little bit with my new camera. I'm going to leave it at that today. Usually I put on a fancier ending. Wish you peace, love, and live as yourself. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.